What up, y'all? I am Dr. CBS here with Dr. Jared Ball, and you're tuned into A Little LDI Live. Jared, what is good?
What's going on?
It feels like it's been forever. And also, we are live.
We are live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to you, Dr. CBS, of course.
Y'all just don't know how much I actually be fucking up. How much editing Jared actually does. So we will see this live and in color. But tonight, we just wanted to give a recap of season 1. Unfortunately, we didn't get to it on the last episode of season 1 due to the horrible, tragic news of the passing of our dear comrade, Baba Lukman. Y'all saw how, if you watched the morning show where we did our tribute, y'all saw my ugly cry. It first started when we first heard that news while we were filming. So anyway, we're going to do the recap now. And so just think back to season 1, 20 episodes. I know that might not be a lot to y'all. That's a lot to me. And it feels like we covered a lot of ground.
First of all, I think it was a beautiful cry that you and Kalanji offered up. And second of all, I think, yes, it was a lot done in this season. You put in a lot of work, did a lot of heavy lifting intellectually, of course. And so, yeah, I mean, it was a great season. And I think like with all things I binge, and I think it's kind of part of the binging syndrome, I'm feeling a withdrawal already. So
yeah. Well, we'll have to do, again, as I said, I want to say in the penultimate show where I announced that, or maybe the show before that, where I announced that we'll be ending season 1 after 20 episodes. We'll do some of these lives, maybe just segments here and there. So for my fiends out there, my LDI fiends, there will definitely be some content. But so we're kicking that off now. Little LDI Live episode 1.
Right on.
So I just wanted to start by just running down all of the people that I interviewed. And it turned out to be 13 interviews. Perhaps there were more than that. But the ones that I documented were 13. I don't know. But it seemed like I had one almost every show. So I might be missing some people. But I got Gerald Horne. That was episode 2. My girl, Dr. Layla Brown, who has since started a segment. She gathered me on the show and will be the co-host of season 2.
That's right.
So I've been able to gradually bring her along, and also is the co-host of the Talk Black on the morning show. So with that one interview, I've been able to coax her and convince her to come more into the BPM universe. So that's
very well done on that, by the way, because as we said last week, everybody wants more Dr. Brown, and I joined them. I echo that sentiment, and so this is great. Very well done on that.
Absolutely. Then we had my other girl, Dr. Crystal Strong. So that was a very interesting, very amazing interview where we talked about the fuckery, to for lack of a better word, going on with Black Lives Matter. Mm-hmm. We talked about the organizing scene in Philadelphia, among many, many other topics. So that was a dope conversation. And
can I just say that we also learned some about her work and her writing, and it also led to her visiting one of my classes, which was also thrilling for the students. So shout out to you and to Dr. Strong for that as well.
Yes. Okay. Then we had Kamal. We had Kamal Franklin on wearing his CMB, Community Movement Builders hat. He talked, not Cash Money Boys.
Right.
Community Movement Builders, CMB. And he talked about dual power, what power actually means, organizing on a community level, cooperatives. And so that was a very dope conversation.
He also tried to trot out the last dope organizer phrase.
Oh, he did, and we invited him to walk that back. He did not, and so luckily we did have him on because he flaked for our last interview, the interview with the dashikis, which I'll get to obviously. But so at least we had him on that time. I still haven't gotten a good explanation for that, but
nobody has.
Then we had on the man I call Encyclopedia Black. That is Eugene Puryear, talking about the situation in Haiti. He was on the ground there when things were just sort of taking off, the protests against Jovenel Moise. And so that was a really amazing conversation. Eugene is just a wealth of knowledge. So I really enjoyed speaking with him.
Absolutely. And that joke isn't lost generationally, right? Encyclopedia Black. Like everybody gets that, right? It did occur to me one time to ask that, but I mean, I know we have a brilliant audience, but that isn't lost on anybody, right? Just
well, just for whoever doesn't know, like Encyclopedia Brown was like a little, I think a white kid who was a detective or something, but had an encyclopedic memory. It was like a book series. And so
I used to read them as a kid.
Yeah, exactly. So Encyclopedia Black, that's that. Then we had our beloved Luke Bonds on for an interview where they talked about their revolutionary love, how they met, organizing, all a wide-ranging, very in-depth conversation, which was amazing, obviously. We had on Dr. Barbara Ransby to speak about the activist organizing she's engaged in. So from Scholars for Social Justice to the Portal Project that just recently launched, which I'm actually a part of. And so, again, another great conversation. We talked about her use of biography to tell Black radical stories. And so that was another good conversation.
Yes, it was. Absolutely.
Then one of my favorite conversations was with my guy, Hakeem Adi. Y'all, I love Hakeem Adi, okay? Let me just tell this story. I don't know if I told it on the show, but like I met him because I brought him out to Carleton College, where I work. Anyway, I brought him out to Carleton College to do a lecture about his book, Pan-Africanism, A History. It had just dropped. And so he was just, first of all, he's very tall, very fair brother, not unlike our dear Jab, but is hilarious in that sort of British understated way, super kind, super nice. And he's been a sort of mentor figure ever since. And I just really love that conversation. We talked about all things Pan-Africanism and communism. We talked about, the sort of historical and contemporary manifestations of Pan-Africanism, some of the pitfalls of Pan-African organizing. And that was another dope conversation.
Absolutely. And the subtext of hate and slight disagreement. I mean, it was just, that thing is rich. And having seen it more than once, I would encourage others to do that. It's like all of your discussions worth more than one view, but there's so many little bits and like the subtext, the between the lines stuff was really, really delicious. Yeah,
the bits and bobs. Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he tried to have smoke for Black internationalism.
He did.
We'll just agree to disagree, but yes. And then a little bit of Afro pessimism shade. So it was a good conversation.
Yep. Very good. Very good.
Okay, so then we had your boy, your man,
my
new guy, the 2020 hater of the year, Ty Stephen Burrows, to talk about Freedom Ways. Now, mind you, Ty would not come on the show unless he talked about Freedom Ways. So I was like, Ty, I want to have you on the show to talk about this tonight. He was like, Freedom Ways, and I was like, cool. So that's how, so he devoted the topic, but I was perfectly fine with it. Again, another interesting and cool conversation. We got into a little bit of John Henrik Clarke and James and Esther Cooper Jackson tea. We got into the sort of the significance of the little magazine and Freedom Ways continuing on in that legacy. It was a meandering conversation. There was a lot that went on. So it was another great one.
No, I love that he came on, and the way you describe how he was willing to come on is just very Dr. Todd Stephen Burrows. That's just very consistent.
What can I say? Good conversation. And and now I've made my way to his email list. He be emailing me shit I already get because I'm on the email list myself.
What?
But I appreciate I'm on the email list. So I be getting, I get a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I'm just like,
That's big, actually. That's big. That's important.
I was like, I made it. When the hater of the year got you on the email list.
And he said he's willing to, he said he's predicting he's got to give you the crown. And the only competition I think you might have this year is Kwame Brown.
Okay, I mean, I'll take that. I'll take that. But you know, the year is only halfway over.
We're not there yet. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Okay. So then we had another dope conversation about abolition with Derica Purnell, the amazing attorney, organizer, and author who's working on her own book on abolition and how she came to abolition. And so that was another great conversation. That was the birthday episode.
Yep.
Great one.
And I got that marked when that book comes out. I think I might have even pre-ordered it already. I think.
Okay.
But I got it noted on my to-do list. It's there.
And if you're sort of chomping at the bit for the book, she has a bunch of articles in the Guardian and the New York Times and elsewhere. So you can definitely check out her writing.
Right.
Okay, probably my top interview. Dev Springer. Y'all know I love me some Dev Springer from Groundings podcast, amongst many other things that he does, or excuse me, that they do. They're an amazing poet. They do a bunch of media work. They're a writer and author. I am a proud subscriber of their Patreon, but we had a wonderful conversation about a bunch of stuff. Cuba, Palestine. What else did we talk about? It was so much that we talked about. I can't even remember everything.
There was some subtextual hate in that joint as well.
Oh, of course. Oh yeah, Keisha Lance Bottoms dry macaroni. That was a highlight. And drop herm.
Dev is sharp. Dev is very sharp. So I'm not mad at you for picking that as your top. I mean, they are very sharp. A great follow online as well, worthy of Patreon support for sure. When they're not taking their Twitter breaks, it's fantastic. And you took one too, didn't you? Didn't you take one too?
Yeah, I'm taking a social media break. I need some elbow room, y'all. I can't do it. But I'll be back at some point. You know what's really crazy is that Gerald Horne texted me like, "You off Twitter?" You know, like, you ain't on Twitter. He said somebody messaged me about it. I said, somebody messaged you about my Twitter? I get it. It is a Gerald Horne Stan account, but still. And he said, "You're popular."
It's a noticeable, even before I saw where you said something to that effect somewhere. I was like, what is it? It was a noticeable gap in the timeline. I mean, and while I perfectly again understand, it is, as much as I have to engage or feel a need to engage that space, it's a loss for sure to not see you in there, but understood.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting, I think hopefully Layla posted about it. I actually asked Layla to post about it because
yes.
What happened is somebody I'll speak about a little bit later on was like, wanted to ask me a question. And they're like, "Where's Dr. CBS?" Somebody screenshotted it. Like, where's her Twitter? And somebody was like, "Man, Twitter got her. They erasing everybody." And I was like, "Hey, can you tell them that Twitter didn't delete my account? I self-selected myself out of Twitter." So that's what happened. But so yeah, them boys didn't get me yet, y'all. I deactivated my Twitter, but I'll be back at some point.
All right. Well, it's understandable. We'll struggle through it.
We'll struggle through it. Okay. So the next conversation was with one of my good friends, Dr. Anwar Uhuru. The conversation that got y'all drunk on the ways in which taking shots.
Even those of us just sipping. I don't do shots anymore. I'm too old for shots. But even those of us sipping, we're struggling. And I used to pride myself on being able to handle that. But I was like, and I even knew what was coming, and still was like, good Lord, they got us on that one.
They got us.
And that was the one where I noticed how Dr. Brown hits us with that crossover when she does the ways and then she comes on back and doesn't hit the full phrase. I was like, okay, I see. Okay.
Yes. So Layla has fully mastered the ways that, which doesn't actually count.
It's that crossover. She gets going one way and then she
break them ankles. So they talked about James Baldwin.
Yeah.
They talked about Black liberation and queer liberation and spirituality, another wide-ranging conversation. And so that was really dope. And then we ended the season with my guys, my loves, the Dashikis. Jared Kalanji, the ear doctor, not Kamal. Don't nobody know where Kamal was, what happened, what came up, what transpired. But anyway, it was still a good conversation with Dr. Layla Brown and I. And then the Dashikis, where y'all talked about BPM, the way that BPM came about, the origins, where you see BPM going, what we've accomplished so far. So another good conversation, a good way to end the season.
Yeah, and it was fun, and I do honestly like to be able to give praise to the way this came together, and shout out, Kamal and Kalanji and the ear doctor, and for that. So, it was a lot of fun. And Kamal, all we know is that he's safe. Other than that, other than that he was safe and is safe now, we don't know what the hell was going on with that, and he'll be ever forever
shaded. Admonished, criticized for that.
Yeah, finger wave.
Yeah, so he was in the wind. But all right, and so next, Jared, before I move on to the different segments that that we've done, what was your favorite interview, or what can you or one that stood out to you?
That is I was trying to think of one. I mean, they all do. I think. Yeah, I don't know that one stands out more than any other. I think I know this is going to sound trifling or whatever, but I mean, I honestly enjoyed every single one of them for different reasons. I mean, there are areas where I might have been more comfortable hearing a perspective, and others where I felt more challenged. But I mean, I like, we didn't even even some of the ones that where there was maybe a little bit of post discussion reverberation. I just enjoyed everything about it. I like the way you engage. I like the perspective you bring. I like the worldview of your guests. I learned a lot. What was my man's name? I'm forgetting it. This is terrible. My man who was talking about Sun Ra, and he was doing one of your former students.
Oh, Jorge. Yeah. I'll get to that. Yeah, Jorge Banuelos.
Yeah, is he on the? I should have seen. Is he on the list? Yeah, there he is, Jorge Banuelos. He's on the list. But I mean that one, that resonated. His bringing in. Anyway, I just think everything that you were doing this year is dope.
Mm-hmm. Gun dope, to dope. Your head. Big gun to your head. Big gun. This is the big gun. This is the chopper to your head.
Man, the chopper to my head. I'm, I didn't want to agree with you, but I would probably pick the Dev one because of the wide rangingness of it, because of the Rodney love, but the subtextual stuff, I really like that shit.
You love the subtle shade.
Because honestly, this is where because there are levels to understanding of all of this, and I like seeing, and when I see people able to do that, it's like watching, it's like when ear doctors, watches, Kyrie do his thing on the court, or when I'm watching Kylian Mbappe, doing his thing on the football pitch. It's when you see that elite level. And when you can, so when you can have the conversation with you and hang in a conversation with you and get to some of the details that you get to, and then get to some of the subtext, I mean, I just love it. I love it. Mm-hmm. So
it's like watching Ear Doctor on the weather. Is what you saying.
That's it. That's it. When the ear doctor's doing the weather, the colder than the white man. That's it.
Period. That's it. That's the peak. Okay, y'all. So segments. So I've done 13 different types of segments on the show. So of course, we always do our shoot the shit, which we start every show shooting the shit about so many different things. Sometimes serious, sometimes goofy. always relevant in some form or fashion. So that, of course, is a staple.
Absolutely.
Then the other staple is What I'm On, where I talk about different aspects of writing, what I'm working on at that moment. Just me thinking out loud about the writing process and about how I'm trying to get through this damn book. So
hey, when you say gun to the head for the interview, I could come up with that. If you did that for the segments, it would actually be What I'm On. I've been saying it all season. I really, really, really dig, and I hope that noise isn't too much back there, but I really dig that work, and you're sharing that work with us. And again, anyone who has written or is trying to write should be paying attention and has to have benefited from those segments. I really, really, really appreciated those.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey, if this academia thing goes tits up, maybe I'll be a writing coach. Maybe that's my next act. I don't know.
So there is another option than the poll, then. At least one other option, maybe.
At least one other option. And they're not mutually exclusive.
That's true. One is day, one is night.
By night, multiple streams of income, financial literacy. You know how that
diversify in a tough economy. That's oh my God, no.
Yeah. Well, like you said on the morning show, the bubble's about to burst, so we gotta get some streams of income.
Oh man.
Yeah. So of course, I've also done the segment History of the Present, where I read a quote, a historical quote, and then contextualize it and talk about its relevance for the present. I really like that segment. And then we do in these tweets / in these comments / in these bookmarks. And I will never forget the hilarious mistake that you made, Jared, where you thought, so in these bookmarks, if y'all recall, it's like bookmarks on Twitter, because I'm one who I use the bookmark function. I'm one thing about me, I'm a bookmark some shit. Jab thought it was about what bookmark do you have in a physical hard copy of a book. So
that was funny to me. Because I do. I mean, I literally, my bookshelves have, I leave bookmarks in, stuff, that I just leave stuff there. So I thought that's actually what you meant, like that other people might do that too. And then they just grab a book, see where you were left off or what page caught your interest anyway. But
either way.
I never felt older in my life. That's where I felt my age. I was like, yeah, that's old. That's
your age and your color, as they say. We also have the segment in review, and that's a segment, where I review texts, whether books, articles, blog posts, podcasts, or whatever else that I've been thinking about or thinking with. I think I did a couple of those. I want to say I reviewed maybe a Walter Rodney book, something else. But hopefully we'll do more of that in season 2, especially with me and Layla and dialogue, as well as with you. So hopefully we'll have more of those. Of course, we got the discourse in that course, which is actually also one of my favorite segments.
Yeah, that was good.
Where, we just kind of drag whatever the dominant discourse is. Probably my favorite one of those was when we were watching Old Boy, Ras Baraka. And responding in real time to whatever goony shit he was talking about. So.
He was just trying to justify the horrific behavior of these celebrity activists, shine stealers or whatever you want to call them. And it was so bad. It was so bad. Anyway, it's one of those, where you're like, how the mighty have fallen, or it's just so far from anything we would have hoped. Anyway. So it was worthy of a few minutes of dragging.
Period. And he said it with his whole chest. That was the whole thing too. And then the dude with the earring was co-signing. I forgot his name, but
Baba Zai, I should know him too. Zaid Malik.
Zaid Baba or something like that.
Yeah, he goes way back too. Anyway, good dude too, but whatever. We just on that one. Agree
to disagree. Discourse and that course, period.
Yeah, happy to be in the DAT course.
Although the race right, what is it? The
Tulsa one.
Tulsa. I'm not gonna say Oklahoma. See y'all. If this was not live, I would have Jared edit that out. But the Tulsa race riot, that was a really good discourse in that course too. I think
that was a lot of fun. And the blooper reel one,
right?
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Now I was gonna say, like, we were supposed to show the History Channel video that was real goofy. but we couldn't show it for whatever copyright rights. But hopefully the conversation still made sense. But I think that was not a good discussion.
But the thing was, though, that what was so unfortunate about that is that that I had to edit out our reaction to something in that clip as we were trying to not drag someone without giving it an appropriate contextual discussion, who deserves it. But
Period.
but then the thing flagged it anyway. So it's I don't know what the exact word is. It's not irony, but it's something where this person benefited just like they are politically in line with the Googles that would censor us from doing that, is what I'm trying to say, is the point. So whatever
it was
that
divine
is.
Intervention on their behalf.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what they like when somebody shuts the lights, pulls the plug on something to stop something from playing, or they're like, I'm just gonna shut the whole thing down. This person got that anyway. But anyway.
Yeah. And that was one of the times where, when I say my face don't got no indoor voice, that was one of them.
I mean, you for sure, but I think all of us had just a natural, simultaneous, similar, uncontrollable, unpreventable reaction. And anyway, it's a good one for the blooper reels. One day it'll, we'll see if it pops up.
So we had one segment of book review. I think we reviewed one book, and I'll talk about that more later. But that's when Erica, No Name, and I talked about the book For the People. So that was good. And again, we should do more of those.
Yes,
definitely, because we need to be reading books and discussing them. So
I actually, that's a good point. I think that's a good idea. Even if you maybe some sort of future segment could involve some sort of homework assignment where folks are encouraged to read something for a future episode to be, I don't know, something.
Oh, book club, LDI book club. Like we'll
that
all
would be fantastic.
Announce the book, and then maybe 3-4 weeks later we have kind of a discussion. Have people on, and then also, engage people in the chat. That would be dope.
That would be dope, especially if you were getting the author, if that would ever worked out that way, if it could ever work out that way.
Yeah. But I be feeling like Jeezy when I read with the new shit where he said, he has that line where he said, I'd rather listen to your instrumentals, nigga. I feel like I'd rather just read people's footnotes. I don't be liking the new shit. I like old shit.
I hear you on that.
Shit.
So speaking of old shit,
of a book.
It's like when you made me think of when Jada Kiss said, I used to buy your CDs, now I break weed up on it.
Exactly. That's exactly. I mean, that's what I do. I be using them to prop up this ring light. They be thick for no reason. To prop up the ring light. That's it.
Yeah. All right. That's a good idea. All right.
Okay, so getting to the homie, my student Jorge, along with Yolian Ogbu, I had both of them on for the class and session segment where I talk to young folks who are in college or just young organizers who are out here doing what they do. These are the future. And so I wanted to talk to a couple folks. Hopefully I'll have many more on. We'll have Layla and I and you, maybe some of either y'all students on. To talk about what the youth is doing, because we ain't spring chickens anymore. So
I know, right? Somebody older than me called me old, and I was like, man, I'm about to be 50, and even he had to respond kind of like, oh wow, man, I did not realize, brother.
Like, hey, you're old enough to be my dad, like a young dad, but still,
you know what?
That's
I guess so. That's wow, that's okay. just one more dart. Pew, pew. Yeah, I hear you. Okay, all right. Well, but I do like that.
Our beloved Gerald Horne says, "More yesterdays than tomorrow."
I'm definitely I faded into that territory, I think, for sure. So and definitely more good yesterdays than good tomorrows. There might be, I might get close in number if I get lucky, but good ones, nah.
Sigh. That's the
right, sigh. But no, I do like that. I mean, I like that you did that, bringing young folks on and highlighting them. And folks, people do often say that the kinds of students that you influence or produce or whatever is a marker of where you are as a scholar, as a teacher, etc. So I think you showed yourself well, certainly this season in that respect too.
Well, as they say, every student is a potential comrade. So
there it is. Trying to recruit every semester.
Period. One can also recruit from the poll or wherever else. I'm just saying that there's many ways to recruit. Like, let's not. We need to expand our horizons. We started out.
I'm just trying to think. Oh man, I'm trying to think of the. I'm not comfortable saying it, but what I will, because I think it's a brilliant argument, but what Kamal once made the point about George Jackson is sort of an equivalent of what you're saying your work would be from the poll. Like, like we're gonna have this revolution one way or another. So if it could be like,
yeah. My name could be like Mark Scene or something, or Young Red, Little Red, I don't know. Anyway,
you could be like, now imagine if we was making it rain for the people, my brother.
Period. Like, how do we redistribute this equitably? The possibilities are really endless, but
woo. Okay, yeah. Oh man.
So from the poll to the doctor's in. Yes. That's another good segment. That people send in their questions or comments / questions, and we offer up some advice. So that's one of my favorite segments, especially hearing like your perspective and Layla's perspective on some of these different questions, because I think that we all are obviously on the same side, have the same politics, but different interpretations of some of these things. So,
and then different experiences within our institutions, which I thought was another good aspect of that segment, and I thought it got a lot of good feedback too, in terms of people saying, that they like being able to hear that side of the academic experience that they don't get to, often hear. So I thought that was really good too.
Period. So then we got top 5 dead or alive. We've done a few of those segments where we name our top 5 of something. One of my favorites was Hubert Harrison. Yeah, that was a good one. And so, we'll keep that going.
Absolutely.
We did one pedagogy parlay. So we definitely need to do more of those where we just talked about teaching, all things teaching, all things pedagogy and teaching philosophy. So that was real dope.
It was. And because, and also something that I thought about it was that it was a good, it felt almost like a good substitution for those of us who don't get that conference funding support to go to all the conferences where some of that good work does happen. Like sometimes, I know there's always the party and the frills and the silliness of conferences, but a lot of good work does happen in these places. And often I've seen around pedagogy and teaching, helping people learn other techniques or ways, methods that people have been able to convey certain ideas in the classroom. So I like that.
Yeah, I agree. And then our newest segment, which is our girl Layla segment, She Gathered Me.
Yeah. I love it.
Love it. Love it. So good. So good. So those are all the different segments. And, as time goes on, we'll add more and hopefully, do more of the ones that haven't gotten as much attention. Oh, I forgot one. Left disquisition. And, and two of my favorite of those was when I actually was in conversation with people. So one was with Dedan Wakuri, where we talked about what he was doing in Elizabeth City, organizing on the ground, and his organization Mapinduzi. And then the one with Erica and Delfina, where we talked about Keith Davis Jr.
Yeah. And I went and found, I don't know, I can't remember when or how this might have come up, but I went and found the video where Dedan and checks Roland Martin. Did we talk about that?
I'm pretty sure
after we did it. Did you send it to me? Okay, that's how it happened. There it is. That's how it happened. There it is. Okay, there it is. Because I loved that. But I went and found, but the one you sent was someone else showing it for her video, I think, or something like that. Because I actually went to the original, the Status Quo folks and got them to send me the link so I could see the whole thing. And it was great. It was especially for my petty side. It was just, again, it was just delicious to watch him Jack Roland Martin and be like, nah, man. Anyway, shout out to Dedan.
Shout out to Dedan. All right. So now I just wanted to do what my top 10 highlights of non-interview highlights on the show. So top 10 moments on LDI. The first came from episode, and so these are in no particular order, but one came from episode number 4, and that was when we did the In These Tweets with Nina Monet.
Yeah, that was heavy.
That was heavy. Yeah. And so I don't know that she was as enthused about that segment as we were, but I loved it. I thought it was great. I think that was our first In These Tweets.
I did too, and I thought I actually I thought it was powerful and strong, and I really do for whatever her feelings are. I thought that her desire to focus on Black poor people and to check children. I'm sorry, specifically is really important. So it was. I thought it was great.
Word to Nina Monet.
Yeah.
The next one is actually one of the first history of the present I ever did, which was a quote from William Patterson from the piece he wrote called Negro History Month from 1954. There's just this one line I'm going to read because that shit is just bars, and I think about it all the time. He said, only those who are enemies of mankind can seek to deny to nationals of their own country a record of the fruits of their sweat and blood because those nationals bear a different color or worship at a different shrine. And then he says, such is the course of savages ruling in a modern exploitative society. Woo! Such is the course of savages ruling in a modern exploitative society. That's just bars to me.
Bars.
So
it is.
Yes. Yeah. So I really like that quote. The next one of my next favorites was when we did the book review for the People, Black Socialists in the United States, Africa, and the Caribbean with No Name and Erica. That was on episode number 5. Dope conversation, dope book, and out of that, I've actually been in conversation with Eric Grigsby, who is the author. So we're trying to get that book republished because he self-published that. So we're trying to get it re-released. Hopefully international publishers will do it, but he's dope. He actually emailed me recently, but so that came out of that whole discussion. And then word to the white homie, Schoolboy Charles Holmes, who actually was the one who scanned the book and uploaded the PDF and actually put me up on game to the book. So
was the story told as to why he self-published? Or is that something we can look forward to when you interview him? Is that because
we can absolutely interview him? That's such a good idea. We should definitely talk to him.
I mean, I would just love to. Well, among many other things, that question alone would be. I would be very interested to learn more about the choice to self-publish. But yeah, anyway, that's all. All of that's great, and I'm glad that I'm glad to hear continuing reverberations from that interview. That's what's up.
And then my next favorite was the class in session with Yolian Ogbu on episode number 6 from the organization HOA Pals. She is just such a brilliant thinker, such a good organizer, so much courage. Now, Twitter actually did get her at one point. She got her account back, but they actually did come for her at one point. But she's a member of BAP, member of HOA Pals, and just an amazing thinker. So I thought that was a really good conversation.
Yeah, I didn't know they went. They got. I'm glad she's back. I missed the whole.
And in fact, she was the one that was like, "Where's Dr. CBS?" She wanted to ask me about something about intellectual McCarthyism and Black feminism. But anyway, so good looking out, Yolian, and don't worry, I'll be back.
And this is why I'm saying again, forgive me for interjecting this, but this is why I'm saying again, all the people who are out there being like, yeah, they got rid of Trump off social media and all that kind of stuff. This is exactly why that was a whack position to take then, because that was obviously not the end goal and the end game is to get rid of folks like Yolian and others. That's to interrupt their flow. That's the whole point. But anyway, sorry, I didn't,
Free hood communists still.
And them, that's my point. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Perfect example.
Period.
People out there like, yeah, they got Trump. You ban him. Get the hell out of here, stupid.
Yeah, until they get that toupee, they ain't got shit. Just kidding. Another of my favorites was there was a Happy Birthday Walter Rodney segment where I talked about the piece that I wrote for the African American Intellectual History Society about him, and talked about one of my top books kind of by him. It was a recording of a conversation he had, which was Walter Rodney Speaks. And then one of my favorite pieces by him, which is called The Struggle Goes On, which was published in September 1979. And then, of course, I always say, anytime I talk about Walter Rodney at this point, I talk about Patricia Rodney, who actually, so I'm here in Atlanta for the next 5 weeks that I'm here. I will be meeting with her every Thursday so we can make headway on this memoir because her story is very important. She is a freedom fighter and an intellectual in her own right. And so much of Walter Rodney is her, right? And so much of her is Walter Rodney. So we need to definitely hear that story.
Are you breaking this? Is this breaking, or am I just having a moment where I've forgotten something again? I don't remember this being part of your summer plan. These weekly routine meetings with.
Yeah, well, Patricia me and her Rodney knew about it. Yeah, so because I was
obviously you don't have to tell me. I'm just curious. Right. I was like, damn, did you say this? Because this seems like big news to me.
No, like, it's part of the plan. It's part of the plan because I'm here in Atlanta, so I was like, why not? So we're gonna meet for like 4 hours for these next 5 weeks, and really because we were meeting maybe every other week for a while via Zoom, and so we've got quite a bit. We got the structure of the text, and we got quite a bit of information, but now. So I sent her a laptop so she can start to write it out. She's working on an iPad. I'm like, girl, you ain't working on an iPad. So anyway.
Yeah, she's true. Yeah, that's good. Shout out to you. Hey, that's dope. I had no idea. That's what's up. It's exciting news. Yeah.
Hey, the story is so funny. I am so irreverent. So here's a brief story. So I want to say, I guess this had to be maybe January 2019 or January 2020. I can't quite remember. I think it was January 2019. We were in Washington, D.C. for a Walter Rodney symposium at Johns Hopkins that Robbie Shilliam had organized. And so he picked myself and Patricia up from the airport. And so we're in the car talking, and I'm like, Dr. Rodney, we really need your memoir, your story. And she said, I've been working on it with somebody in London. She's like, I thought about you, but I thought you would be too busy. And I literally said, fuck that. I am happy to do it. Like, forget that. I said, forget that person in London. No. I said, I have a lot going on, but I will make time to do this, period. Like, are you kidding me? And so that's how it started.
Hey, sometimes that's how you got to do it.
Yeah, like
sometimes you got to say, fuck that dumbness, cut that zero, get with this hero. If I could take it back to the 80s real
London,
quick.
Brexit, get that shit out of here. No. So that's how it happened. Because we had met, I want to say in 2018, I did the Walter Rodney lectures. They do the Walter Rodney lecture series, and I did the lecture at I guess it was Clark Atlanta, the AUC, for the Walter Rodney Foundation. And she was there. And that's when I met her and Asha. And then she remembered me from that. And then that's what I came about. But yeah, so that's the sort of side project.
The little side project. Patricia Rodney. Okay.
So anyway.
Yeah. All right. Wow. Good stuff.
And just to finish up that highlight, shout out the Walter Rodney Foundation. Definitely check it out. And shout out to Patricia, Asha, Kanini, and Shaka, who have kept that going. Don't ask me about the Walter Rodney symposium that happened in March. Don't ask me about that recording. I don't know where it is. I don't know when it's going to be up. That's when where Angela Davis keynoted. And me, Erica. And
I was going to say, I heard something.
Had a conversation with Mama Angela Davis, but it'll be up sometime. And of course, we just had on the anniversary of the assassination of Walter Rodney, June 13th, we had another event, and that recording will be up too. But shout out to the Walter Rodney Foundation.
Right on.
All right. So then another one of my top 10 is the class in session with Jorge Banuelos, my student, who is too much like me. I be having to be like, it's too early in the day for you to be this irreverent because of that much. So, but he is such a brilliant thinker too. He's such a hard worker, a multi-potentialite, multi-talented, starting in the religion program at Yale. So I'm so proud of him, and it was cool to be in conversation with him.
Yeah, that was I really enjoyed that. As I mentioned earlier, I really enjoyed that myself. Again, I don't want to. I know it sounds crazy and it's very difficult because I have not liked or not enjoyed any of them. But anyway, but I really I dug that, and it was good to see. I like seeing somebody come somewhat out of your intellectual tree, so to speak, and taking off on his own right. That's what every teacher really wants to see happen, really.
Period. Yep. Yeah, that's my guy. The next one was and so that was on episode 10. On episode 13, I loved our top 5 dead or alive, Hubert Harrison. We are both big fans of Hubert Harrison. We love Hubert Harrison. We thank the white Jeff Perry for his work on Hubert Harrison. There's issues around it, but we thank him for that because he did a lot of work.
I think that's my favorite of all of this is your reference to them as the white or the whites. I think that is always it cracks me up every time. But yes, we have issues, but we do appreciate.
Yeah. So, and you like him so much, you even named your hate awards after Hubert.
We sure did. We did the 2020 Hubert Henry Harrison Hate Awards. Absolutely.
The original Triple H.
The original Triple H. That's right. That's right. For those who know wrestling, I don't know wrestling that much, but I at least knew of Triple H. So this is the original. Yeah. So yeah, to your point, we are huge fans of Triple H. Yes.
Okay. So my next top moment was the pedagogy parlay with Dr. Brown, Dr. Ball on episode 17. It was just dope to talk about pedagogy, to reflect on pedagogy, to think about it, and to hear other people's approach to teaching and to building out assignments, how we engage students, and hearing people's y'all's best and worst interactions with students, which was funny.
Ooh, yeah, that was yeah, and same thing. I had the same vibe with that in terms of the whole conference point I raised earlier. It's when you go to conferences and you don't go for a while, you see. I felt that this is one of the things I missed, that you sitting down with people from all over the world and hearing about their experiences of teaching in the classroom, surviving institutions, et cetera, and so forth.
Yeah. Institutions. So we got 2 more left. So the penultimate one is the left disquisition with Erica and Belfina about Keith Davis Jr. I learned so much. I'm always learning so much from Erica and also Belfina. I learned even more about the Keith Davis Jr. Keith Davis Jr. case. I am even more steadfast in my fuck Marilyn Mosby. Like, I'm firmly in that camp now. Her perm be dry too. Or maybe it's suppressed. I don't know. It's dry though. So that was dope.
Yeah, they were great. Erica is strong all the time. It was good to catch Belfina, and I was one of those that had heard of the Keith Davis case when it first happened. I lost track of it and wasn't keeping up with it. And to get reintroduced and to hear about it all over again. I mean, my goodness, it's crazy. So shout out to them for that work. And I hope, well, anyway, I hope something good can come at the end of this at some point, but
free Keith Davis till it's backwards.
I mean, really.
And so number 1, She Gathered Me. So I just want to say, again, I'm so happy and so proud to see my girl Layla flourish as a BPM personality. She was very hesitant. Even when I asked her to do an interview, she was like, I ain't got nothing to say. Like, yes, you do. And then it slowly is built up. You know, we started to do the Talk Black, which is cool. Then, you know, then her segment, and then she was like, I'll co-host. And I'm like, yay. Like, you know, she brought it up. And so I feel like the next step is just her having her own show. And so, like, I think she has such great things to say. She's able to break things down clearly, and she loves plants. You know, she just multifaceted person. I feel like I was just telling somebody the other day, like, I have so many interesting friends. I'm real basic. Like, I don't like nothing. I don't do nothing except read and write and talk shit. I'm real quotidian. But I feel like my friends are so interesting. They like all sorts of stuff. They could sing, they could cook, braid hair, all that stuff. You know what I mean? And so I'm just fortunate. And Layla's just one of those people. And so I'm so glad that people are being exposed to her genius and her brilliance. So
hey, you have, to your own right, brilliantly water potted the frog and have slowly brought her to a boil where she will be hosting and just running the whole channel. So that's all to the good. So definitely appreciate that. And I remember you, both of you mentioning at the beginning, she was saying something to the effect that, you know, I don't know to say, what am I going to say? I can't hold the 20-minute segment, whatever. You're like, yeah, whatever. And obviously that was some nonsense. So
I mean, what I'll say is that I'm her Jared. Because my coaxing her was your exact coaxing me. That started back in what? July 2020. We coming up on a year. And we was like, you know, I think I had tweeted at one point that I wanted to have just a little segment. And you're like, you could do the I'll mix what I like. And somehow it has bourgeoned into this. So, like, I'm her Jared Ball. That's basically how it happened.
All right. Fair enough. Hey, I do remember seeing that tweet or whatever and was like, for real? I'll put a bid in on that for sure. Because honestly, I really thought that you, I would have thought, but I guess, you know, honestly, you know, I should have understood. You've made this point before in terms of saying something to the effect that we have to something like believe our analysis of the world. Mm-hmm. So initially I'm thinking, man, everybody in the world should be trying to get CBS on their platform or work with her or do, you know. And so when it seemed like it was, you know, when you put that out there, I was like, what? Because, you know, anyway, look, I didn't know of you beyond your work on academia.edu, maybe somewhere else. And I just kept seeing all this great work that was just consistently, you know, forgive me for saying it this way. I don't know if this was your intent, but this always appeals to me. You write with a certain, you write like your personality. There's a certain strength and a certain, like, I'm like,
no indoor voice.
Right. And I'm running over you with, and that's what I love that shit. So I was like, man, so when I saw, like, we did the first interview and I was like, wait a minute, she's good on camera. She's good. She's prepared. You were all prepared. Remember that Robeson thing? You had all this shit lined. I was like, what?
My notes. Peak skill conversation, yes.
And then you're cool on top of it. It got jokes and person. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, this is crazy. Anyway, so I was like, hell yeah. I was like, come on, man. So, but yeah, anyway. I'll take the credit for that. And I was right. Duh.
Absolutely.
Duh.
You did. That's what I know you had mentioned before that you kind of jokingly said you discovered me. You did. That's why you get 10% of all my earnings, 10% of nothing. All you, Jazz.
That's great. That's funny. All right. Anyway,
so word to she gathered me. So
absolutely. And shout out. I'm sorry to do that, cut you off, but I wanted to say that I really appreciate that Dr. Brown, the way she introduced that segment as a tribute to her mother, laying all that out and explaining the she gather me statement and content. I mean, so if like myself, who's not remembering it all in detail right now, we need to go back and look at it. I mean, it was really powerful. So I'm glad all of that's great. I'm glad she's going to be more and more.
Yeah. The quote from Beloved. And it's just so crazy. Right. Like, me and Layla are just like, what is it? There's that little meme that's like, when you see her, you see me. When you see me, you see her. Just because, like, I met her at such an important, like, right after her mom had passed away. Like, we met, and we were both, and we just, it was whatever at first. But then we talked, and it was like, oh, okay. And, like, we have been so close ever since, and all sorts of job stuff, all sorts of life stuff happening. And so it's just really cool that we're able to do these different projects together. So,
this is another, forgive this, but there was that I can't remember her name, the sister who I always was saying if they were going to cast Nina Simone, she should be it, because she has the look and the talent. She's a British sister, but I was watching her series on one of these streaming networks, and she and her girlfriend had a phrase that they said to each other, which was, your birth is my birth, your death is my death. And I was always like, damn, for friends to say to one another and like really mean that. So anyway, when you just said, when you see me, you see her, that popped in my head, and I was like, that's pretty powerful, pretty deep. Anyway, so
yeah, your shade is my shade.
All of that.
That's what it is. Yeah,
that's what it is. That's
Are you talking about Michaela Cole?
Is that her name? Honestly, I gotta look it up.
It's from like chewing gum or whatever. Does she have that
chewing gum? That's it.
Yes,
that's it.
That's Michaela Cole.
She is. I've seen her in a number of I think she's a brilliant actress, and that show was challenging for me on a number of levels, but was really powerful. And I thought her performance was incredible. And I thought the dynamic with her and her girlfriend, in that phrase in particular, was pretty heavy. I always appreciated that, Anyway, that's what I was talking about. Yeah. Michaela Cole is her name. I got to get that. I got to know that.
You got to know that.
Got to know it.
She better than Monique. I don't know why Monique goes, yo girl Monique, shame people for bonnets and shit. We don't like Monique.
All I'm saying is I like that Monique stood up and called out Oprah and what's his name and the other ones. I just like that. You're right. Michaela Cole is way better than her in terms of anyway, but I just like that Monique did that. You're right. She was shaming people for the bonnets. She's just going too far. She's going too far. You checked Oprah, you checked old boy. Like now it's everybody. Anyway.
Goofy. Anyway, the last thing I just want to mention, of course, is long live Luke Mon Nation. Luke Mon Nation forever. Of course, two of my favorite, top favorite of everything I've done on LDI was when I had Baba and Jackie on for In These Tweets on episode 7 and the interview on on episode 11. I just love them alongside the Rodneys, the Du Boises, the Huntons. They are one of my favorite revolutionary couples. And I'm, again, like I said on the morning show, I'm so glad that we have Luke Mon Nation and all that content so we can continue to learn from Baba Luke Mon even after he's transitioned. And I will just never forget ever when he said during their interview, so we got into a kiss. I said,
how the hell you?
How do you just get into a kiss? That part, and then when they talked about getting pepper sprayed together, that was just like, what else is there?
What else is there? Yeah. I'm very glad that you did those segments, especially now, obviously. But even then, I thought it was a beautiful thing to highlight that kind of relationship. And I was telling somebody the other day, I had been given years ago advice from an elder in a struggle to not find a partner in the struggle, that it causes too many difficulties. It's too difficult. It's too challenging. There's too much this and that. And I don't like to use the word regret. I have no real regrets, but I understand why people would disagree with that sentiment, especially having watched those interviews with the Luke Mons, because seeing people struggle together like that is really powerful. And they were, perfectly exemplified that opposing ethic, so to speak. So I'm very glad that you took the time to give them a platform to lay that kind of stuff out, because in all the work that I know that they were doing, I don't think that they were explaining those relationship stories or laying all of that stuff out. The spaces they were doing the work wasn't, conducive to that. So it was, anyway, like you said, I'm glad they're documented, and rest in power to Abdus, and all love to Sister Jackie and their family. And of course, she'll be coming back soon. We'll all still be here with her, and we'll keep struggling. So yeah.
Period. And I just hope we gave, we talk about giving people their flowers. I just hope we gave, Baba Lukman his flowers, and he knew
No doubt
how important he was and how much of a contribution he made, because he never hesitated to tell us how much he loved and admired us and respected us and, liked our work. And so I just hope that we also reciprocated that. I hope we did. I think we did, but.
Jackie suggested that we had done that all of us collectively had done that during her wonderful remarks at the service. So that he understood, where he knew how we all felt and how people in the movement and that people he worked with in their church and all the groups that they went to. I mean, I had no idea, honestly. I knew they were religious, that they are Jackie religious people, and then they were involved in Plymouth Congregational. But I didn't know to what extent until I was at the service the other day and heard, and it was, the point was made. So I think on that little bit of that little token, so to speak, we can rest assured that he understood. He knew what we thought of him. Anyway. Uh-oh. Did CBS freeze? Not now. Oh my goodness. All right, hold on, everybody. Let me okay, did she come back? Are you back?
I'm back,
okay.
yes.
My bad. I was like, did you freeze? Not at that moment, please. Not right there. God damn.
I'm back like unemployment, but all I said was long live Lukman Nation. Lukman Nation forever. And
right on.
Yeah. So that's all I got. Jared, any closing thoughts?
Only that I hate to have them, because I know this is the end of the season, but I'm looking forward to the return. I know that you'll come back rejuvenated with a whole bunch of good stories and accomplishments and accolades and all of that. And I expect good things to be coming for you, and so I look forward to hearing all about it when you come back, and catching you when we're down there at the BPM picnic,
July 16th through 18th.
So yeah, so I look forward to all of that, and so thank you very much, Dr. CBS, for this great season. Thank you for joining us at BPM. Thank you for all the great work and the education and the fun. I've had a blast. If I haven't said that, I want to make sure that's clear. I have had a blast working with you this season. So anyway, and shout out to your LDIers, excuse me, the LDIers, and all of that. So
I can't see the chat, so I don't know what's going on in the chat. I don't know who's there. So
everybody. Oh, my bad. Oh, I didn't know you couldn't. My bad.
I'm not logged in. Yeah. StreamYard secrets. You gotta be logged in.
Man, my bad. So of course, Sugar Booger, Ricky Ryan, Leah Boggs,
What
Two
up?
Black, Vicky Blues, Obiama Chia. Oh no, Ohia. Sorry about that. I gotta get in fact, I have an eye appointment next week. So I gotta get an upgrade. So don't worry, everybody. Jadorian, Craig Bardo.
Yeah, it's gang. It's all gang. What's
Ready
up, y'all?
Revolutionary. Everybody's here. Al Unique, Mick Jagermeister. The only one I don't see here tonight is Big Pun.
Yeah,
where's Big Pun at?
Or his wife. His wife fills in sometimes.
Yeah, I don't see either one of them right now. They'll have to catch up. Michael Brown. Goddess Crew, I think I said Big Teal, hey, Comrade P,
Big
Arthur
Teal.
Balagoon, Abiel Belutz, and if I'm messing this up, please forgive me. Just give me an ear doctor pass on the pronunciation. Woo, Boscore. Is out there. Everybody's, everybody's out here. Everybody's, wishing you well. We're gonna miss her. Oh, David was here. Okay, Leah says David was here. Al Unique, it's Friday night, probably date night for Pun. Okay, KD in the building. Anyway,
Anyway, what up,
So
y'all?
shout out to all of them. And again, shout out to you for a great season. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, y'all. This has been a little LDI live. You could have been anywhere in the world as usual, but you're here with me. So thanks for tuning in. I'm Dr. CBS. That's Doc Jab, and we are signing off.